Hi, good morning, welcome back. And today on the Big Softail, I want to fit a pair of heated handlebar grips. Now it's not a difficult task, nothing too taxing, but just in case you want to fit a pair on your bike, here's how it's done. Right, now the ones I'm going to be fitting today are not the usual budget Oxford Products ones that tab directly to the battery with that little controller. These are a much more high-end product from Kuryakin, and looking at the market, these are at least the same quality and price as the genuine Harley Davidson ones you get from your main dealer. So first of all, let's get them unboxed and see what they look like. Right, now by comparison, these Kuryakin grips are about 3 times the price of the budget Oxford grips, and in every single way it shows. Everything about them is high end. They're heavy and chunky. There's none of that gluing the grip over the top of the throttle tube, all that nonsense. They're all in one piece. Everything is molded into one and sealed, and they literally just plug and play. And even the wiring, it's soft and thick and flexible, and the plugs you get attached to it are the same quality as the plugs on your Harley Davidson factory loom. So you know that the money you've paid is putting a piece of equipment on your bike that is up to the standard of the bike itself, at least OEM quality. Now I'm sure you'll agree that these days nearly all motorcycle accessories come with no fitting instructions whatsoever. You're left to fathom it out for yourself, or you might get at the very best only to be fitted by a qualified technician. Thanks for that, that practically doubles the cost of the accessory once you've paid a professional to fit it, when to be honest, all you actually need is a half-decent set of instructions to follow. And in the case of these, that's exactly what you get. A fantastic set of instructions, 21 steps, blow by blow, how to do everything you need, including diagrams and photographs. Fantastic. Even the factory doesn't do this. What a breath of fresh air. Anyway, I've read through all 21 steps, and the job begins with fitting the throttle grip first. Start by getting the screen out of the way. Back seat off. Front seat off. Right, roll back these rubber boots that go over your throttle cable adjusters, and then adjust all the slack out of both throttle cables so they're completely collapsed. Right, T25 Torx, undo this switch casing completely. And with a T27, just loosen the brake lever clamp. Open the casing and lift up the cable and take them out of the grip. And remember, these little ferrules are not solid on the end of the cable, they come free. So take them off for safekeeping in case you lose them. And do the other one. Slide off the grip, bring in the new one, simply slide it over. And we're going to fit the pull cable into the front hole and the push cable into the rear. Now when you insert these little ferrules into the grip, try and put the slot open end in first so that the cable can't pop out. And with the ferrule pushed split side in, make sure the cable sits neatly in the track on the grip, like that. And the same on the return side. Put the ferrule back on and push it split side in to the grip. And with everything inserted, hold everything still and just operate the twist grip with your hand. Make sure that the cables stay neatly in their tracks and nothing jumps out of place. Cap back on top and pop the screws back in. And just tighten it all up and make sure your throttle works freely. And then do exactly the same on the clutch side. Now when it comes to the old grip, if it's a bit knackered and you're not going to keep it, then just run a sharp blade along it there, peel it off and throw it in the bin. But if they're in nice condition like these, then I like to keep them because they're actually quite expensive and they do come in handy in the future. So the best way to get them off in one piece without any real drama is like this. All right, get some WD-40 or any other maintenance spray and just poke the tube down inside about an inch, give it a squirt or two. Let that work its way down. And then just wriggle it about. It will soon break free and slide off. There we go. Good as gold. And then a little bit of solvent just on the bar. And degrease that, get all the oil off so the new grips. Right, when it comes to installing a new one, orientate it so the switch is facing the rider. You can get to it with your thumb. Now it doesn't need any glue. It slides on nice and loose until it gets on to about here. And this bottom section is slightly narrower. So that will grip the end of the bar, stop it moving. And this front section here has a big fat rubber area and that's gripped inside the switch block. So no glue needed, just push it on, work it all the way in. Slot that front section inside the switch, like that. And it will orientate exactly where it wants to and sit nice and tight. Just need to clamp it down. Right, now I've fitted a fair few sets of heated grips to bikes over the years and I learned a valuable lesson right back at the beginning. At this stage, when you've got them fitted to the bars and the wiring just hanging there, test them. Just plug them in and tab them straight to the battery to make sure they switch on and they both get hot before you do anything else. Right, black and white plugs, nice and easy. There. Good enough. Right. See if they actually work. Right, the instructions tell me there are 5 settings, all on this button. Green, yellow, orange, red, off. Easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I've got them on the highest setting and within 10 seconds they're hot. That's nice. There, within less than 2 minutes they're uncomfortably hot with bare hands. Perfect. Right, now I know that they work, and very well too, the next part of the job is to make all this disappear. Now this system is not designed to tab straight to the battery like the Oxford system. It doesn't have that little regulator that turns them off when you forget. And it's no use kidding yourself and saying, oh, it's okay, I'll remember to switch them off. No, you won't. You know what it's like. You pull up at a spot, you turn your ignition off, you go and have some fun, you come back to your bike a few hours later and you're having a bad day because you've got a flat battery. In this system, the battery's not involved in the equation. You get a little earth wire, that connects to a frame bolt, nice and secure, and the red wire connects to a switched live, and there'll be a perfect one underneath my console here where the ignition switch is. Now that would normally be the next and final part of the job. Thanks for watching, see you next time. But when you consider what's coming next in the project, this is going to have to wait. Because next it's time to paint this old girl a completely new colour scheme, and that means that all the bodywork is getting stripped off, including obviously the fuel tank, and once that's off I can run all this ugly wiring down alongside the factory wiring, blend it all in like it was never there, and that will be a far better install than I could possibly do with the tank on. So that's it for today. Heated grips fitted and working, tick. Now the wiring installation, I'm going to do that off camera because it's really boring and doesn't make good video content. But what certainly does is ripping the tins off this to prep them for paint. So I'm going to order some paint stripper and I'll see you next time. We'll make a start.